And hello everyone, Lights and Gear is back with another product review. And today we have the latest in one of the Nitecore SRT series flashlights, SmartRing technology, as you can see by the box. This is the SRT9. And Nitecore has done some pretty good developing, I would say, in this particular flashlight. We have some rather unique features, which I'll get to. It uses a Cree XHP50 LED. And two 18650s is the recommended battery source. You can use 4 of the smaller type, but two will give you a better product, I believe. It is a compact searchlight, as it says on the body, as it says on the box, and the unibody construction. So it's a very tough light. It's a very professional flashlight. Naturally, anybody can put this to use in a number of situations. However, I think for law enforcement or whatever, or somebody in a professional field, this would certainly be a good light for them. 2150 is the output for the lumens on turbo. And so anyway, let's just get to some of the main features. Now, as you can see right here, in addition to the XHP50 LED, you also have 4 secondary LEDs, and these give you various color tints. You have red, green, blue, and ultraviolet. So here's where the professional part of the light comes in. The mode selector is how you change the modes. So this is a peek of the flashlight on the side of the box. It's not actual size, but it is a pretty good size light. A little bit of information there on the back of the box, obviously just gives you the main basics. So inside we have the light in its little plastic bed, and it's almost, I believe just under 6 inches long, and it has some weight to it. So here's the light. It's almost 10 ounces in weight, so it's no small boy. But in the package here, you do have the adjustable lanyard. Actually, wait, that's not the adjustable lanyard. The adjustable lanyard is, whoops, over here. So here's the lanyard, of course, pretty typical. Here is the belt sheath holster that also comes with it, of course, Velcro. So that's a good way of carrying it. If you haven't noticed yet, on the light itself is a pocket clip. It's very, very sturdy. I actually haven't even used this yet on the clip, but this is screwed in, so that's not going anywhere. You also have a spare switch cover and this other little doohickey here, which looks like some sort of a gasket. I have not had a confirmation yet on what this is used for. I believe it goes on the bottom of the light across the tail cap to make the tail standing a bit more secure. That was my thinking on that. But it will tail stand. I mean, it does have these arms that go down here that protrude from the bottom, so it will tail stand. Not too bad. It's a little bit, just, you know, if you set it down quickly, it could fall. It's a little bit teetery, but it's not bad. That's where I think the rubber thing here on the bottom does assist in that. However, we have a unique system on the back here for changing the batteries. If you remember, on one of the other Nitecore lights, the EC4 GT, they had a twisty bottom on it, which was a little bit easier to maneuver. This one tends to be a little bit tricky, depending on your level of strength in your fingers and so forth. But I have batteries in here already, but in order to remove it, you have to press the little hole, press the little buttons on either side, basically at the same time. I found one of the easiest ways is to kind of turn it upside down, and then if I press them both, it sometimes does exactly that. It just falls off. But initially, it was, before I realized that that's a good way to do it, it took me a minute or two to get it off, because pressing the buttons in really didn't release it that much, so I was tugging on the bottom and so forth. But anyway, here's your tail cap, and as you can see here, you have the Nitecore name up in here, and there's only one way it can go on, with the negative end of one battery on the spring here and the positive end over here. So here's your tail cap, and it's a nice clicky. And inside you have your batteries, two 18650s. So they're in there just like that, and they go in, they go in the way that they're supposed to go in, because you have a spring down in here for the negative on this side. So anyway, they have to go in that specific way, and then the cap goes on like this. I have to look away from the camera so I can try to see what I'm doing. Yeah, this is right. So this goes, well, no, it's wrong. Goes on this way. Goes on that way with the arms pointed toward the button. And your spring on the negative side for this one. So when it goes on, it has to, when it goes on, it has to go over the arms. Actually, no, you have to press the buttons down. That's it. You got to press them down to remove them, and press them down to put it back on. So press the buttons down, align the arms with the buttons, and give it a really good press until it clicks. And one side is clicked and one side is not. There you go. So you really have to often give this a hard press to get both buttons to click up and lock. So that's how you do that. Okay. Other features of the light. Well, first of all, you want to take a look at the magnetic ring. This is the SmartRing. So this is it. This is how you adjust all the modes. It works well. It's nice and smooth, and it has indents for the various modes, which I'll get to here in a second. Over here, you have a status light, if you will. There's a standby mode on the ring. So in standby mode, this blinks blue, and it also serves that it kind of serves as a locator. If you leave the light sitting in the dark somewhere and you want to know where it is, you can leave that in standby, and this will blink blue once every 2 seconds. It also indicates the same way when the batteries get low. So when the battery voltage gets under 50%, this will start blinking blue. And then when they get way down, like 20%, 10%, whatever, if you don't change them out, then it will start flashing rapidly. So that's for that. It has, it's obviously, you can see it's not completely round, so there's a good number of ways to hold it. So even without, and this area here, this knurling here is pretty good, but from the way you can hold it like this, there's really no way it's going to roll anywhere. There's no way it's going to do anything. It has good grip, depending on whether your hands are wet or not. So here are your LEDs. It has a smooth reflector. So they've tried to, I'm sorry, not a smooth reflector, an orange peel reflector. And I think they did that to try to minimize any artifacts that might have come from these LEDs. And you have the 4 LEDs in here. Just looking at them like this, I don't know which one is which. It doesn't matter. But the beam is nice, even with the extra LEDs in here. Sometimes they do create, shadowing issues and so forth, but in this light they don't. And I think they've worked hard to eliminate that. Your XHP50 LED, of course, right in the center there. And this is a stainless steel ring around the top here to prevent any kind of damage or whatnot. So turning it on is as simple as falling off a log. Press the button and you'll have instant light. That is if you're in the right mode. I think right now, I'm in standby mode. So there's your blink. There's your standby blink. So let me turn a bit of light off. Okay, I'm in standby mode right now. So there's really no way of knowing where you are on this ring. Where you turn it off at, obviously it's going to stay there. So this is one light where if you want it to come on in strobe, you can have it come on in strobe. It doesn't have an SOS. So strobe is the only emergency flashing mode it has other than this. So otherwise, you've got the portion on the ring here which turns it from 0 lumens to 2150, plus you have the other colored modes and so forth. So turning it on, I mean, I guess part of what I'm trying to say is you kind of need to remember which part of the ring the modes are on. So when you turn it on, if you turned it on in red and you wanted to go to blue, you'd have to remember which way to go, or else you're, you know, going back and forth. So if I turn the ring to the, let's see, if I turn it like to the left, which would be like counterclockwise, I'll then get to the UV LED. So right now, oops, that was one thing I meant to show you as well. So I have a $20 bill here, and with something like this, of course, you can see how the ultraviolet does its job. So let's turn off this light, and let's look at the $20 bill, and with that you can see the green stripe that is normally hidden, of course. And look really closely, and you can see all the I'm not sure what you call these, but you know, where it says 2020 2020 2020. So that's one way that the UV light works. And of course this would be handy in a professional for professional use. So and there's the green stripe on this side as well. So there's your UV light, and of course if you pointed at anything else, everything looks, things that are white, you know, look blue with the UV, just like that. So anyway, there's your UV light. Now if I turn it again in the same direction, counterclockwise, I'll get the red LED. So here's red, and it's a pretty deep shade. A deep shade of red. It's a blood red, I guess you could call it, or maybe a crimson, or something like that. If I turn it again, here's the green. Turning it again, here's the blue. And turning it again, here is a police flash, or however you want to describe this, flashing blue, flashing red, flashing blue, flashing red. And then if I turn it once more, ah yes, beacon. I've forgotten about that one. So strobe and beacon are the two flashing modes. So here's beacon. I'm now at the end of the ring. I'm now as far as I can go on the ring. So I now have to go back clockwise and go past all these modes again. Here's standby. Now if I continue going clockwise, I now get to the regular lighting mode. And here's where the ring goes from supposedly 0.1 lumens, although sometimes it's hard to get it way down low. It just cuts right out, as you can see. So it's hard, as I'm turning it, I'm trying to get it as low as I can, but it usually just cuts off. But this is pretty low, so here's your lowest mode. Again, like any low mode, or any ultra low mode, or moonlight on any flashlight, you'll get good illumination at a short distance. So as I go up, turn the ring up, turn the ring up, turn the ring up, 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 up. There we are. Now we are at the highest point in the regular lighting mode. So here we are supposedly in what they would call turbo mode, and this should be over 2,000 lumens. And in here, of course, you're not going to get quite the effect as you will if you look at the pictures on my website. So if you go to lightsandgear.com, where the link is below, and check on my written review with my outdoor shots, you'll get a great idea of how this shines on trees and houses and stuff like that from a pretty good distance. So check out those pictures on lightsandgear.com. So anyway, I am now in the regular lighting mode. If I turn it once again clockwise, I get into strobe, and that is the end of the ring. So that's as far as I can go. So strobe is at the far end. Strobe is at the far end clockwise, and one beacon is at the far end counterclockwise. So I think you've got a pretty good idea now of how the light actually operates. The instruction manual, which I didn't actually show a second ago, here's the manual, which of course will give you all the bits and particulars in about 7 different languages. Again, everything is pretty much spelled out in here and it does tell you what to expect with the various battery configurations. You're not going to get the same output with, or I'm sorry, no, not output, but runtime. You're going to get much less runtime if you use the 4 battery configuration of either 16340 or CR123s or 18350s or whatever. You're not going to get quite the runtime, but as it does indicate here, it should go for about an hour on turbo mode. And that's the other thing too, there's no step down. There's no way it can really, I mean, it says it has temperature control, so you know it kind of watches itself with the ambient temperature and behaves accordingly, but there's really but there's no way for it to really step down. So theoretically you can keep it on turbo for as long as the batteries will allow that to happen. And of course it's tactical. Naturally, tactical is in the name, but because of the rear switch, if you just give it a light press, obviously you'll get momentary light. And the light doesn't come on in a, you know, the light doesn't come on, it has that nice little ramp when you press the button of whether it's a full click or a momentary click, so you don't get that immediate burst of light, but that just that very slight little ramp, which is nice. And so there are the run times with the various outputs. They do indicate here the outputs of the colored LEDs. I have read that blue is actually higher than 3. It says blue is 3 lumens, but I read that on independent testing that's actually come out to be quite a bit higher than that. But the others are 19, 13 respectively. And you have a beam distance of 200, sorry about that, you have a beam distance of 246 meters. It is impact resistant to 1.5 meters, and it's IPX8 waterproof, 2 meters submersible. So anyway, you can read about the rest of the stuff in the instruction manual on my website. It was provided to me by my friends at GearBest. You can check them out. You can click the link below and get a very competitive price on this flashlight. You can check out the link on my written review as well. And if you have any questions or comments on the SRT9, I'd certainly like to hear that. Share the video and check out Lights and Gear for more flashlights, batteries, chargers. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.